Hello, my name is Trevor, and this video is a video introduction to a presentation that I've done through Prezi concerning a facilitation session on nutritional health. I have a longer video that you can go through this whole process of not really each slide, but this one's more of an overview. Just in regards to, the purpose of this video is to introduce and briefly explain my Prezi, which is about facilitating an optimal health course, which focuses on the nutrition, and also includes tips on presenting the material, this kind of material, or just material in general, to adult learners. The first couple slides focus on biblical, historical, cultural, and scientific examples of how we can figure out how to use to optimize food for nutrition. Really for me, the Bible has a biblical authority that gives it the most importance to me in my life, and so wherever there is biblical examples of food and wellness and stuff like that, or wellness through food and nutrition, there is an example or those examples I hold at a higher degree. I guess you can say there's a book there by Jordan Rubin that talks about a lot of those things in his book called The Maker's Diet. And so there's that. And then the second one is history, which includes all the cultural examples. And so cultures over generations and generations have had certain ways that they've prepared their food and consumed their food, and how they're even just rearing and growing their food. And the thing is that those things are kind of lost nowadays. And so we have a cultural aspect that has known how to prepare foods and have nutritionally dense foods. And so that is a very good example of where we can go back and use those examples, time-tested examples, to make sure that we're getting foods that are nutritionally dense. Science is the last one. I put it last. There is a lot of good things that science can do, but when science, in the form that we know today, and the research that is used to promote foods as healthy, has really taken a backstage to actual health of the person's well-being through that food product, because a lot of foods are so highly processed that some of the ingredients at their basic form, such as the grains in some kinds of foods, they are beneficial to our health, but not in the state that the food has been prepared. So science has really gone away from really showing what is truly healthful. And not to say that all research is not true. There is a lot of truth to them, but unfortunately it's been tied too much to politics. And so therefore science does has its place, such as with a document by Haidt et al. And the topic of that article, which is by the name of, let me pull it up real quick. And this is actually in my reference page in the presentation. But anyways, it's really talking about this article by Haidt. It's called In the Face of Contradictory Evidence, the report of the Dietary Guidelines for Americans Committee in the Journal of Nutrition. Really, this talks about how the USDA guidelines is really false advertising. And so this really kind of gives you point-by-point reasons why the USDA guidelines is really a misinformation, and that's where our country has kind of fallen back in health, is through this misinformation. There are a lot of people out there who really do try to provide pertinent information, scientific information, but a lot of times it's tied in too much with policy making and the industries that create and benefit from mass production. And so the industrialization of our food has really put us back in regards to health. And so those are the three main things that I focus on as a person searching for food and wellness. And those are the main topics that I would present, and examples that I would bring forth into why I hold these three I can say examples or stools as a grading system in that order. And so anyways, a lot of people in this country are really searching for, you know, optimal health because they want to have a long life, and a long meaningful life, and a long meaningful life without much illness. And so I believe there's a saying, I can't remember the exact percentage that they say, but you know, 80% of our wellness is from the food that we eat. And of course physical activity makes up for a lot of that, and of course emotional, you know, it plays a lot. Our emotions play a lot in that as well. But really, if we're going to focus more on health and nutrition and where it's going, we need to focus on our food and where it's coming from, and the resources we go from getting in order to make sure that we, you know, eat a healthier food. It's really, in my opinion, going to be those three, that grading system from biblical, historical, cultural, and then scientific. And within this presentation, I go over, you know, what to consider as a facilitator when teaching adult learners. There's a lot of things to consider, and I give some tips that actually were pulled from some of the resources that I reference in the reference section, and just talking about, you know, assessing what adult learners need and how they operate as adult learners compared to, you know, young children. So, you know, adult learners are more self-directed, and their life experiences play a huge part in how they learn and why they learn the things they want to learn. And so they really, in most cases, are seeking out, you know, certain courses for, a lot of times, classes that benefit them. And so there's also a great video that is in this section that talks about how to be a great facilitator, by Karen Friedman. And she just kind of goes over some of the points that I bring up in this particular part of the slide. But really, it's fostering respect for one another, and to be able to, you know, respect one another's thoughts, you know, and backgrounds, so that we can have lively and authentic discussions and foster, you know, a sense of friendship that would be able to continually enhance the, you know, discussion that brings forth the learning opportunities within the classroom. And then the third slide, we talk about more of, or I guess you say the third section, talks more, or shows videos about why I believe this information to be pertinent. And so I revisit, you know, a biblical aspect. And so this is actually Jordan in this video. He talks about, you know, the biblical aspect of where we come from and why the biblical aspect is important to consider when considering nutrition. And then of course we have the second video that's more of a historical aspect. It's actually it's a video from Weston A. Price, and where he went around the world and compared, you know, cultures that were very close in relation. One of them was untouched by Western civilization, and one is, you know, recently introduced to Western diet, usually first generation, and how he was a dentist, and so how he would compare the two through their dental record, or, you know, examining of their teeth, and then, you know, just overall health appearance, and, you know, general, you know, he'd ask questions from the main people within those communities on how their health is, and just comparing those two that are pretty in close proximity to one another, so they have the same background, but one that has abandoned the traditional food preparations and, you know, traditional foods, and how those people who abandoned their traditional practices of food consumption and included the Western diet really had poorer health than those people who did not include any of the Western diet. And so anyways, he went around the world and just compared communities from all different parts of the world. And even though there have been varying traditional foods from each, society that he visited, the thing is that no matter how diverse these were from one primitive, community to the next, their health was so much more better than those communities that were influenced by the Western diet. And so that's the historical, and of course the scientific. It's been a while since I've seen that video, but that's more of the scientific background that kind of really aids to where science is beneficial to finding out where food is, or what kinds of food are going to be nutritionally benefit for us. And so in the last section I kind of talk about why our country has so many health problems, and it's not for the fact that we don't have enough food, because when a lot of third world countries where a lot of people are not able to get very much food, we think of a lot of times they're in pretty bad health because they can't get the nutrition that they need. Here in this country, we have a problem not so much with the amount of foods. There are still people here in America that are in need of food, but it's not so much the amount, but really the quality of the food that we're getting. And so we need the overall health of our country is relatively poor compared to our wealth. And so, and of course we claim to be scientifically advanced, but yet obesity is rising. And so what I believe is really a reversal away from the modern processed diet back to a more traditional system that is founded on really time-tested methods of food preparation and food rearing, so raising of animals and food production. So these things, I believe, are probably the route that we need to take in order to revert a lot of the misinformation that we've gotten from really our government and of course the industries that promote their foods. And the only way we can do that is, educating ourselves and educating those around us that we love, and to do it in a discussion that really, fosters, thinking about really where we're going as a country and as a society, as a community, as a neighborhood, as a family unit, and really understanding where our thoughts need to be more focused and not so much on what we're being told from, you should say, people who have ties into, gaining financial status off of, some of the things that they state. And I understand there are a lot of people out there who proclaim certain, diets and stuff like that. And yes, they proclaim such and such, and they do get benefit from the books that they sell. But it's really going back to doing your research. And it does take some time. But I really hope that this, Prezi presentation does allow you to think about, where we're going as a country, and how we might be able to just individually enhance our livelihood just through our nutrition, which is really going down to where we get our food. And there's a lot of great documentaries out there that are coming out that talk about, the corn. Of course, that's one of them. King of Corn is one documentary, and how corn is in everything. Also soy is in everything. Soy, there's a benefit of soy, but in the traditional sense, soy was really only consumed when it was a fermented product. Nowadays it's not. It's a product that has been, there's a lot of studies that show that soy does inhibit a lot of, nutritional, digestive. So there's a lot of digestive inhibitors within soy. So these are just various examples where tradition and culture knew that soy really wasn't a good product unless it went through a fermentation process. And there's actually a lot of cultures that are around the world that have included fermentation within, just storing methods for food, and, during times when food would be more scarce. And it turns out, it creates an already, a healthy product, or it has healthy aspects, into a product that has even more healthier aspects added to them because of the fermentation process, and a lot of times removal of some, digestive inhibitors in the case of soy. into making a really much more healthier product. So that is all I have for now. Thank you for watching. Please check out all those references. Most of them are educational resources, but there are in particular that one reference to the report on the dietary guidelines, and how really that is a bunch of information that could be very well misleading and leading us into a state where our society is becoming more obese because of it. So anyways, thank you very much, and very blessed journey in your health, and searching for the information out there that will really help you find the foods that are more traditional and allow you to be able to become I guess healthier members of society. Thank you very much, and take care.